Hello everyone, Spade here, back in with our Marvel Content Champion. Today I'm bringing you guys on our buff concept, this one being for the Red Cyclops. So we just saw the Blue Cyclops get a really good buff. He's super insane, he's a super insane attacker now. The mutant CGR, if you will, but like, the Red Cyclops, he needs to get some love too. So I thought it was fitting to buff the Red Cyclops since, the Blue Cyclops got buffed. And as always, these are purely fan-made and are not official, leaked, real, etc. This was just for fun. And my goals for the champion, not a lot of goals, but I do want him to be a strong defender because you have the Blue Cyclops who is a strong attacker. So I thought, the Red Cyclops, he's actually the evil Cyclops, and he's a villain. It's when Cyclops did his villain phase. But yeah, I just kind of want them to be opposites, where you have a strong attacker and then a strong defensive Cyclops. And this Cyclops is going to have counter attacks, and he's also going to have a nice utility, being able to counter like Thorns. So even though he is more so, I want him more so a defender, he still can take characters like Korg and Atuma and Electro, characters like that. So, for always active, Cyclops' sense of betrayal left him unable to be controlled or manipulated by others. This means he has immunity to taunt, intimidate, infuriate, and reverse control. So, pretty strong right there. And it's going to make him a little bit more annoying on defense because, you're not going to be able to taunt him. You're not going to be able to intimidate or infuriate. Like, he straight up just, you can't control the AI or manipulate the AI as some players do. You can't do that. And Scott starts off each fight with an X second true damage buff. This is refreshed every time Scott uses a special attack or a heavy attack, and will gain it back after 10 seconds if it's lost. On defense, this doesn't go away. So, I mean, you could still, You could still like nullify it and that kind of stuff, and like fate shield it off, and then it'll come off after 10 seconds. But on defense, it goes away after like 10 seconds, or goes away after a few seconds, unless you heavy attack or special attack. But on defense, it just like it's permanent, if that makes sense. So when I say this doesn't go away, you could still like nullify it. Now for his optic counter. So this is going to be a really annoying defensive mechanic that makes it so you don't really want to intercept this guy. So on things like stun immune, he could be super, super annoying. Because whenever Scott triggers a well-timed block or is intercepted by the opponent, he triggers an optic counter. An optic counter can count as an intercept and is a single beam hit that does not make contact with the opponent or generate power. And the optic counter passively stuns the opponent for 0.5 seconds, and after triggering the optic counter, it goes on cooldown for X seconds. On defense, there is no cooldown, however. So no matter what, when you intercept this guy, he's going to counter you. And so you don't want to intercept this guy at all. You want to try to stun him or bait out heavy attacks, that kind of stuff. If you try to intercept this guy, he's going to stun you, and then you're probably going to get, hit with a 5-hit combo, or even worse, a special attack. Alright, so then the heavy attack. So Cyclops gains 1 optic charge when the opponent is knocked down with the heavy attack. So it's not an activation, it's purely from knocking the opponent down. Alright, now we get into optic charging. So Scott gains optic charges throughout the fight. Optic charges can grant the following. It grants special attack damage, and also reduces thorn damage by 20%. Which, as you can see, you can pretty quickly stack up these optic charges. You just go for a couple heavy attacks and you're basically fully ramped up. And optic charges can stack up to 5, and once he reaches 5 charges, he enters optic overload for X seconds. In optic overload, he retains the benefit from all 5 optic charges, and any hit that strikes or is dexed by non-tech champions deals a burst of energy damage and reduces special cost by X%. So there's a lot there that once he reaches optic overload, he is going to be even more annoying on defense if you don't have a tech champion. So you really want characters who can reduce, who can resist, like have a lot of energy resistance. So like Absorbing Man in his magma state, and I think of other characters that have energy resistance. I think Guardian has a lot of energy resistance once he's like high sig, but you just bring in a tech champion and you don't have to worry about that energy damage. He's also going to reduce the special cost, so he's going to be able to just throw back-to-back special attacks, and it can be very, very annoying on defense. And then on attack, it's going to be very, very fun. You go special, 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 special until like Optic Overload ends, or you run out of power. And after Optic Overload ends, he loses all of his charges. So he has to, start back at 0 again. And yeah, you're just going to have to build him back up if you're on attack, which, like I said, not that hard. You just use some heavy attacks. And also, you do get charges from using special attacks as well, which we'll get into on slide 2. But also, when Scott would be inflicted with a suppression effect, he loses an optic charge. So another counter to him is characters who inflict suppression effects. So I know Hawkeye inflicts suppression, a lot of tech characters inflict suppression. So yeah, if you just have a character that can inflict a lot of suppressions, you're going to be able to manage Cyclops' optic charges, which really make him annoying. Because you do not want to push him to optic overload, which, he kind of just naturally does. There's really not a whole lot you can do to get around it unless you're inflicting him with suppression effects. Also, for Cyclops' 4th light attack, he disables both his special 2 and his special 3 for 1 second. And the timer for the disable refreshes when Cyclops uses a special attack. So, like I said, you probably want to be going for special ones because we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, special ones, you just want to disable your special 2 and 3, and you just want to keep using back to back to back to back to back until you can't no more. And all special attacks, Cyclops gains 1 optic charge for each power bar spent. So this is another way to ramp him up really, really quickly. Go for a couple heavy attacks and like a special. And then boom, you're probably ramped up. At 5 optic charge, you're an optic overload, you're dealing a lot of energy damage. It's pretty nice. And the special one inflicts the opponent with an energy vulnerability debuff for X seconds on each hit. If these are to be removed in any way by a skill champion, a passive is placed instead with an extra plus X% increased duration. So this is going to be really nice, going to make him really good at countering annoying skill champions that have access to cleanse. And yeah, this is also going to maybe be a reason why you don't really want to bring in skill champions, because it's just going to make them take energy damage for longer periods of time. And also, this attack is unblockable if Cyclops is an optic overload. So yeah, you will just be able to keep using special attacks back to back to back to back to back while an optic overload. And yeah, you're just going to be putting energy vulnerabilities on the opponent, which, like as stated before, in optic overload, you do a lot of energy damage on your basic hits, and this includes special attacks as well. So yeah, your special attack already does energy damage, and then it's going to be dealing extra bursts of energy damage plus energy vulnerabilities. Pretty nice. And yeah, here's a nice counter to cleanses as well. Yeah, the special one is pretty nice. Special 2 is pretty annoying. This is more so for defense. If you're pushing him to the special 2, you probably don't want him to throw too many special 1s. But if you push him to the special 2, melee hits that make contact with the opponent inflicts them with an X% potency weakness passive for 20 seconds. And so this is actually going to be a pretty potent weakness effect. Like if you get a couple of these, or even one of these, you're going to notice a significant reduction in your damage output. And so yeah, if he gets you in the corner, special 2 can really mess you up. Maybe you don't want him to use the special 2. Maybe you just want him to use special 1s, but then he's going to be like gaining a ton of optic charges. So you gotta really choose what you want to deal with. But also, after the special attack ends, Cyclops gains an inexorable passive, which is the thing that Serpent has that makes it you can't knock him back, and also increases combat power rate by X%. Now, the special 3, Scott gains a massive prowess buff for X seconds, increasing special attack rating by X%. So this is just kind of useful because mutant champions, there's some like nodes where you need a prowess buff, and just all around, I don't really know what to do for the special 3. Red Cyclops, pretty simple champion. So I just thought, okay, most mutants have prowesses. This could definitely help for ramping, or if you need more damage output, you just go for the special 3, and you get a nice prowess buff that increases special attack by a ton. And I'm thinking this lasts pretty long because it is like a special 3, and you gotta basically use the special 3, and then you gotta get all the way back up to at least a special 2, get into optic overload, so you have enough power to launch a couple special 1s back to back to back. At least in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. And his Awakened ability, Expertise, pretty simple. Cyclops actually retains 1 to 2 Optic charges after Optic Overload ends. So this could definitely make him more of a monster on defense because he's just going to be able to keep getting into Optic Overload quicker and quicker and quicker as the fight goes on. And yeah, at Sig 1, when he's Awakened, he gains 1 Optic charge after it ends. But at Max Sig, it goes up to 2. And Cyclops can also crit through block when he's Awakened, and when he does, he deals a burst of X to X energy damage. So yeah, this is more energy damage that is just going to pile up and up and up as you stack on energy vulnerabilities with the special one. And so yeah, it's just going to be very nice. It's also a nice utility to be able to crit through block. It could come in handy in like niche nodes and like niche matchups. But yeah, that is the Red Cyclops and how I would buff him. You know, he could definitely be really annoying on defense if you don't have the proper counter for him. But, you know, as long as you bring a proper counter, I don't think he's going to be too much of a headache. He's just going to be someone you kind of also want to, you know, you want to watch out for, you know how he works and stuff like that. And, yeah, even though he has some BS, I don't think it's going to be complete BS because all you really got to do is bring in a tech champion and you don't have to worry about all of the BS damage. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Let me know any other characters you want me to buff in the comments below. And also any characters you want me to create champions concepts for. Because next concept is going to be for a brand new champion. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.